Nicola!
Di, welcome back.
I'm so excited to be here.
I know. Can you believe that? We've had a big break.
We have.
And now
huge.
it's 2026. It's our fourth year of Over the Back Fence. So,
Really?
can you believe
It
that?
seems like it's 3 days.
I know. That's right.
And you know what's incredible?
And
is
we've
this-
missed everyone.
We have missed you all. I hope you've missed us. But we've had the summer edition running, and there's been lots of feedback from that.
Hasn't it been great?
Yeah, it's actually
too?
good. Look, I guess a lot of you know the summer edition is a reflection of some of our fabulous Sam, some of our fab and famous and not so famous guests, and ones that we had incredible feedback from. But this time around, we begin to realise that the beautiful thing about podcasts is you can go back and you can step through the year and see what suits you, and you can click it on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, whatever. We're on every platform. And you can go, okay, that suits me now. I'll click onto that. That's the beauty of podcasts.
It sure is. And not only that is YouTube. So we are saying, subscribe to Over the Back Fence.
Doesn't
it really
cost
is
anything.
now. It doesn't cost anything because everything, what do they say? It's vodcasts now. It's all sort of like video.
I thought you said VOD.
Well, VOD, what is this? This is a water.
I'm cleansing at the moment. I love it. But no, and YouTube's great because you actually get to the visual as well as the sound.
So you can see us and you can see guests, and we're going to do like a little recap of, I want to find out about all the summer holidays. And also we've got to start this year because we've got such an exciting year ahead
beyond
for everyone,
me, actually.
with so many things. But also today, it's not just, Di and I, which is fantastic. But we've also got David the Medium.
I hear I'm so consumed with you, like you and I sitting here.
Coming up.
I've almost forgotten one of my favourite
But you're
people.
gonna-
I love him.
isn't it?
I
I know.
love David the Medium.
You
I
and the
adore
world.
him. He's
Planet
just
Earth.
a really, hey, you ready for it? A good soul.
He is.
There's so much to unpack with him
is.
about what's the future, all the future predictions for the world, for us,
So
for
that's
Australia.
coming up.
In your backyard.
That's coming up. But this year ahead too, we'll be sort
Yeah.
of going ahead with our weekly podcasts.
Yeah.
We'll also be doing sort of monthly or every second month with Over the Money Fence, which was really popular with Roger
It's
Montgomery.
beyond, Nicola, it's beyond popular.
Yeah.
I go to parties. I mean, people stop me. I'm not kidding you. I was swimming the other day, swimming out the back with the sharks. And,
it's been like
and
that
someone
summer.
stopped me and went, I love listening to Roger. He makes so much sense. And I went, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like wherever I go, and at the end of the day, the reason we started the podcast was to inspire, to inform people, and have some fun. FUN, right?
F-U-double-N.
F-U-double-N. And look, honestly,
Gotta be silly.
I hope we're achieving that. By your feedback, we must be.
Yes.
And we'll keep
it coming, the
running.
feedback too. And
Yeah.
we did the event last year, and I think get some dancing shoes on because we're going to be doing lots of fun
Baby
things.
boomers, Gen Xers, watch
that's
out.
it. On the dance floor, events, talks, lunches, and so much. But it's been a big break for
The
us.
lunches I'm excited about.
I know.
Because you really get to meet
I
everyone.
love that.
Mhm.
Just
More
some-
intimately.
Yes, intimate. And even some intimate sort of events as well.
Absolutely. We've got a real variety.
I want
for
to
you
catch
this year.
up with the behind the scenes with Di.
Oh.
I've seen you a fair bit over the summer, but like sharing
That's
a back
funny.
fence. But we had our breaks, which I guess is sort of you got to do as well. And you certainly had a great Di. I know you had a busy summer. You had birthday drinks. You had Christmas.
It was
but
crazy.
It
I
was
had
so.
60
How was it for
60
you?
for Christmas Eve. You were there.
Yes, I was.
And
was
people
good.
might go, oh, why would you have 60 for Christmas Eve? And I was thinking driving in, why do I?
Why not?
But you
It's
all know
Di.
I come from a big family. Then, they've got partners, and then they've had children, and then the children have met partners and they've had kids. So that's why the family's expanded. It's so huge. So yes, that was just a little family Christmas Eve 60. Crazy music flying. It was wonderful. And Christmas Day, the same amount, madness. And then, of course, my birthday on the 30th of December.
Best day, so you don't have to worry about going out for New Year's Eve.
Well, because
It's
New Year's Eve,
fantastic.
it's not my bag. It used to be my jam. It's not so much now. I love to just be quiet, manifest, and go to the stars. But with a hangover usually. But you were there. We partied.
It was
it was
so
great.
much
It was
fun.
great. It's been a lot of that, and You got away, Nicola.
I did, but just back with you before that, I just
Yeah.
want to sort of say that and sing your praises too, because, you can have people around and entertain, but you really are the queen of it. Talk about the Queen of Palm Beach with Sue Bell, and actually talk about summer holidays too. Two of our guests is Sue Bell from last year, who was huge,
Yeah.
and my daughter Gabriella.
Can you believe
Power.
it? She had coffee with her.
They actually met
That's
up
insane.
in
Florida.
Palm Beach in Florida, which is just so great.
Actually, haven't seen Gabriella.
So
I've
actually
seen
put
Gabriella,
up
but I
that
haven't
photo
talked
of
to her
that.
about it. I can't wait.
It's fantastic. But you also just with entertaining though, and you're so inclusive, and you know what? And you have so much fun. It's nothing worse. If you go to someone's house and they entertain and they're stressed or they're in the kitchen or
So
whatever,
true.
this one's on the tables. This
On the
one gets
couch.
the musical instruments out. It is so much fun. It's the best party at
I
the
love
back
people,
fence.
and you do too.
I do too.
Yeah.
So that's
And
why
that's
we're magnets.
It's our DNA. We don't try hard with people.
Yeah.
It is what I can't. Even last night, I went for a walk late down to the beach. Saw a few people and just went. The rain stop isn't fabulous. And I thought, oh my God, I've just gone from the car to wherever and back, and I've talked to how many people because I can't help myself. It fills my heart and soul with joy when I talk to people, and you're the same.
I am the same, and
Yeah.
exactly. I love it. I get energy. It's like every single guest who we have, and as you say, variety. We certainly have a variety and a big variety coming up this year. And everyone who's sitting opposite us, there, we get sort of such even energy, and it's just so great from it. We love people, but then also I think you and I are similar, and I think a lot of people too is having then that space for yourself, and having that time.
Well,
so
it's actually essential. It's called pause.
It is,
the pause.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about dog pause. I'm talking about the PAUSE pause.
Yeah.
Essential. And you went to?
Yeah, well, I went to Phuket,
She
and
sure
I did, like that. So sort of being the hostie for all those years too, and you put the oxygen mask on first. It was a solo trip, and I loved it. Like I couldn't get enough of myself.
Yeah,
like
how
really,
fabulous
it was
that.
just great. There was no. I loved being sort of like say on your own, but of course I was meeting different people, but I was on my own agenda. I could do I'd be swimming. It was beautiful, drinking coconut water. I was doing a bit of Muay Thai, which is the Thai boxing, and gee, that's good for your fitness. You have to skip, you got to kick, you got to do this. It was so good. Meditation, walks, time out, massages, reflexology, which is just my absolute jam. I love that. So that was good. And then I like a good old road trip. I think it was from
With the
flying for
dog?
so long. With the dog, exactly. So Fred and I went up to the country, and then a girlfriend of mine who was free then too, so she came along too, which was great. So we went up to, it's in summer, and we went up to Corindai in New South Wales. Absolutely beautiful. Pastoralist area, and sunflowers were out, and went for walks with Freddie the dog, and just
It was bloody hot.
It was hot, but lucky there was a pool, so you
That was
dip. Yeah,
Because this is a place Nicola never been to before.
yeah. I like to try new places.
She's really adventurous,
I am.
Nicola. You wouldn't realise it, but she bloody well
Well,
is. Let
flying
me
around
tell
the
you.
world, I like to take
Yeah,
off. I like to
true.
try new places.
Yeah.
I like
That's
to
what life is. We
break
should
the
all
routine.
strive for. Is adventure.
And you know what? If you can't even do an adventure, sometimes you make your own adventure. You're going for a walk and you get in the habit, you go for a walk and you go turn right, going this way, no, actually, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to try somewhere different. And it's good for you, good for your brain, and it shakes things up. And sometimes you never even know who you bump into, who you're going to meet.
true.
You're meant to go a different,
That's
different
great.
path. Was it the road less travelled or something?
Explore. It's like the old explorers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whole new domain.
But you went into state yourself, didn't you?
I said I was go. Then I went right. January. I went off to a retreat in the Hunter Valley, and
No alcohol, isn't it? Is it a wine?
well, there is no alcohol
Yes,
at this retreat, but it's in the bloody Hunter Valley. So I went, no, I'll just go and just have some quiet time, and I did for the first 24 hours. And then I met some fabulous people. Of course I bloody well
but
did.
a whole lot of new best friends.
Yes, and I'm saying, Nick, oh no, I won't be talking to any. I'll just be me, myself, and I. But then these girls I met were just the best, and this guy I met was just hysterical. I don't know. We just had a really groovy bunch of us, and what did we end up doing? We went down wine tasting.
We didn't go and visit Lisa McGuigan.
She wasn't in actually, damn it. But we did call in to Lisa McGuigan Wines.
All over the wine
and
fence.
a few others. And I'm thinking, hold on, I'm at a health retreat. What am I doing? But you know what I was doing?
Bend the rules, Di.
It's me. It's called Bend the Rules, Di. But we had fun.
Di was on a bender.
And we came back and I thought, like naughty, like naughty school kids.
Honestly, made me laugh.
Being just cheeky and naughty. And you know my philosophy on fun. F for fabulous. You live untethered. And lastly, N for be a bit naughty or we're a bit naughty.
Exactly.
Anyway,
throw another N in.
It's been fabulous. Did you get to read some books?
I did get to read some books too. I read one, All In, which was a really good one too. So that's also with a couple. It's also with dating these days, and it's
Who wrote it?
Anthony Vinco, and he's actually got a dating agency. Which we might want to talk more about that because there's different ways
Let's
how
get
you
him
meet
on the
people.
potty.
I think so.
Yeah.
It'd be really great way of, and it's becoming a big thing. There's dating agencies in the States, and sometimes I think there's one called $1 Million one. There's different clubs than just the online swiping that they actually, it's like an interview. They try and really match people up, and it's really authentic and really great. It's quite screened, but that was good. Quite a few books and audio books, podcasts, non-stop, and then time out listening to the ocean.
Yeah.
Mother Nature.
Pausing.
Stars in the country.
Pausing. I read.
What about you, Di?
I finished
Yes,
All the Way to the River. Liz Gilbert. I found it initially quite full on, but once you get into it, you just can't put it down.
I love that book.
So actually, because guys, you can imagine with a podcast, the amount of people we interview, we have to read their books through the year. This one, hopefully we're getting Liz Gilbert on.
Yes, she's coming on actually.
She is, hopefully this year. But
the big lineup.
I just thought it was, I don't know, it just really consumed me. So I really enjoyed that book. And same thing, I listened to 4 billion podcasts. Just chilling and relaxing. But yeah, great holiday. I hope you've all had the best time.
Yeah.
Stay with us. It's going to be a great journey this year.
So much
Join us
fun.
for the ride. It's going to be incredible. And thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you for your support
way.
because we're just really so thrilled. From when we started, I still can't believe that we're in our 4th year. It seems like only yesterday we were here.
Seriously.
And then it's just gone boom.
Yeah.
And gee, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's just the growth and the people that we've met, and
I
the
love
events,
it.
as Russ was saying, we are doing, quite a few MCs and coming up with Coast Trek, which is great. And then we did go to that event, Hotter and Healthy.
Yeah, and one of the guest speakers, I said to Nicola, I've got to get her on the podcast. She went, oh, no, I listen to your podcast all the time, and I'm laughing my head off.
I know.
What? This is mad.
It was great.
That was brilliant.
And a lot of our sort of guests there from last, we had Lane Beachley there, who was speaking, and Lisa Preston came along. So many back fences were at the event. So it's just so good. So anyhow.
Unique.
Yeah.
And this year we're emceeing
Little Legs with
a remarkable amount of charities and different events, and Little Legs, of course, all about childhood brain cancer.
That'll be a lovely lunch.
Nicola and I really totally support Little Legs, and we'll be seeing a lunch for them. Lee Holmes, we're going to be doing her book event. She's incredible nutritionist, of course, all about gut health, which is honestly, guys, they call it the brain. Everything operates in the tummy.
They do.
Also, Coast Trek, as you mentioned, Di Westaway, who we were just at an event with. Coast Trek is one of the, Nicola and I have done many, many coast treks. You might say right now, well, what is that? Honestly, they go along the coast of Victoria and New South Wales.
And Queensland, all around Australia now.
Is it actually around Australia?
They do different ones. They do, even Queensland.
So don't think you're going to be left out. And Nicola and I flew to Victoria, have done a coast trek.
It's a good girls thing, holiday.
And it's just great for fitness, for brain health, for, connection, especially connection. Because it's remarkable, I notice when we're walking, what surfaces for our group of girlfriends that we go with, just it's what's
it's so
something
true.
that's sort of been hanging around that just just will come out.
And you know what? That's a fundraiser as well for Beyond Blue for mental health.
Absolutely.
So it's also
circle.
a charity. It's so always good to give back. You know, when people feel low, what's the best antidote to that is to give back.
Yes.
Think of, like to help others.
And it makes you feel good.
And in that, you're helping yourself, you're sort of saying with mental health, with walking. It's like Amelia Phillips, who we had on last year. It took her when she went away on a girls' trip, and it was like the second or third day when they're all walking in the woods, when she was saying one of the girls then felt in that space and broke down, was in a safe space in Mother Nature. Yeah. So those magic moments come out, out.
And it's also pushing yourself, because you're pushing you beyond your normal boundaries.
Any age, any stage, we're going to do it and keep on walking forever.
So guys,
magic is here.
You won't believe who's coming up now. Well, you will, because you're going to hear him.
Exactly.
It's David the Medium, who I know you all love and adore, with all his predictions for 26 moving forward. And let's see what else surfaces.
Yahoo! David's here. Stay tuned.
Well, we are back, and talk about being excited to start the year. We have our favourite, and I think everyone's favourite on planet Earth. You know what Di called you? You were saying before you're a good soul.
Oh my God, I didn't say you were dick.
No.
She said you wouldn't believe what Di called you.
No. But a good soul. But we have David the Medium, and I think now everybody on planet Earth knows David Medium. And if you don't, well, you're just about to. And
was David on our first show?
And our first show, our second,
which is pretty beautiful.
David is only ever. He's our very first
Don't get
ever.
A word in, Dave.
No, triple guest ever. Our regular, and we're really, really just so feel delighted and feel really fortunate having you on, and no one better to kickstart 2026 at the back fence than David the Medium. Welcome.
So good to be back. Thank you for having me. And I was saying to your beautiful daughter recently, this morning only, Nicola, how much I was looking forward to sitting down with you both again, and honoured to be a return guest, and honoured to be part of your very first ever podcast event, your live show as well.
Oh,
don't forget that, ladies.
Oh, absolutely. That was
a great night.
That was such a great night.
Very successful. Yeah. We've got a lot going on this
year. We've got more events coming up.
Yes. Good to see you busy.
Well, we are.
A lot of lunches, dances, talk circuit, emceeing, and events, like huge.
Yeah, which is good.
What about you?
Yeah.
I hear you've got a possible UK tour.
Well, it may be launching very soon. Ooh. So
watch this space.
I am incredibly fortunate to actually be partnering with Live Nation, which is the world's biggest tour promoter.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's huge.
Would you believe that they actually reached out to me? I couldn't believe it. They're like, have you ever thought about doing a tour of the UK and Ireland? And I was like, well, if Live Nation wants to part it, then it's already a yes for me. So, that will be, tickets are going on sale in Feb. We're Feb already, but
yes.
That will be 5 shows over the UK and Ireland. So, starting off in May. So I can't wait.
That is amazing, because it's when we've seen a couple of your live shows which are all sellouts. We've been fortunate enough seeing 2 at the Sydney Opera House, and even the last one, it was incredible when the lady who was sitting behind us.
Oh my gosh!
Remember
right behind you.
That one, and her mother came through, and we were wearing Camillas, and it was her spirit that came through, and was sort of saying to her daughter, "Look, they're wearing Camillas." These girls.
So random.
And then, and one of the girls in our group there, her girlfriend said, and she was in Scotland, David, and so she'll probably come to Ireland or London anyhow to see you. But she saw that video, which is, gosh, now you have blown up globally.
Yeah, I've just been so fortunate. Like, even when I was organising my live show tour last year, as you ladies can appreciate, when you're doing live events, it's a lot of work. And, a lot of sort of back and forth with logistics. And then there's always that fear that I think every single performer on the planet has, where you're like, are people even going to come? That was an incredible tour. We did, 11 shows over 10 cities in 2 countries, because it was New Zealand as well. And I was just fortunate that there's been such an incredibly positive response to it, with the clips and that were posted on social media, on TikTok and Instagram. Some of them have gone incredibly viral. Like the one that you were just talking about with the beautiful lady up at the Sydney Opera House. That's had millions of views over TikTok and Instagram. I think like 6 or 7 million views on Instagram alone, which is incredible. Like, who would have thought? Though?
I might interject.
You never know. Yeah, you've got a story too.
I was, of all places, you being a Victorian, I was in the middle of Victoria.
In a paddock, weren't you?
On a property just outside of Bendigo.
Another winery.
Yeah, that's
This
it.
one actually could have been. So there's, I don't know, a lot of people there at this party, right? And I'm talking to some people. And then my boyfriend's sort of over there, like with 4 other people. And somehow, David, the medium propped up the name. And I wasn't listening. I was engaged elsewhere. Anyway, the boyfriend goes, "Hey, Di, you won't believe this guy. I just had an experience with Dave the medium. His name is Bryce. His friend passed away in Bali, and he was part of the 1,000 people present at your show in Melbourne. And
I remember.
Yeah, and how overwhelmed and how that experience with you at that show, how powerful that was for him, and what it meant to him. And it was beautiful to hear it outside from this arena, an objective sort of approach. It was really, I was firstly so shocked, was where I was, and secondly, how it's actually not only powerful but how positive what you do in those shows, how it actually washes over and affects people.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's what it's all about. Like, not only do I want every single person to know that their loved ones are still around them and still, helping to guide and support them, but, when any of us, but especially by the time we reach adulthood, unfortunately, we're all touched by, the grief of someone crossing over, or it's a lot of, some negative emotions, sometimes the guilt and the sadness around our journeys with them. So it's so really beautiful to hear, especially post-reading validations, but the positive impact it can have on people just with their own healing journeys. And that's why I love to be able to do what I do, especially.
Oh, and David, you really do it so well, because you do it with such empathy. And people who are, say, non-believers, it's just talk about, well, that's just turned, they've completely blown them away. And then you also, but you're you and you're funny, like that, if there's a single hot guy in the audience or something.
Oh, God. Well, I've got to put it out there. I'm not getting any younger.
Exactly.
You're looking hot.
Tell you what,
looking hot.
Whatever idea it was to put me on front of a live stage with a microphone, like it's kind of like the ultimate power. I was like, no one can stop me now. So it's sort of like you can buy. I have so much fun with it.
But it's positive power, and now just tell
Nicola,
us.
just quickly, what you just said is really important.
Yes,
because a lot of people think this is very heavy.
Yeah.
Like, talking to spirit, talking to people who passed over. But what you just said is so vital, that information, because David does manage to soften that and have a giggle around it. So therefore you don't feel the heaviness. You might feel the weight of their emotion when obviously they're in contact with someone that's passed over. But eventually Dave will be, it'll all be lighthearted, and you walk out actually on a high.
Yeah, it is. You work, or you do that. Every single one, even the people there who would have, say, hoping that that their people have come through and this time they didn't, or they're in the line, how it works there. Everyone still somehow gets some message from it, and it is entertaining, but it's also comforting as well. Because I used to be a bit more, not scared of it, but and we've lost our parents, and look, hey, our mothers came through that time, which was amazing, and obviously we're open up if something does come through. Don't expect, of course, in this setting it doesn't, but in case that way it does, but it's, it really is, it's just a great way. But how is it sort of for people who, say, still listening now, or might be, finding you for the first time, who might go, oh, that's still a bit woo-woo, or what's it about medium? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate it's woo-woo. Like, it really is. Because especially for those of us that grew up in the Western world, we're not taught to have a relationship with spirits or necessarily even a higher power. But, when I'm able to connect with spirit, I am connecting with our loved ones, people that we knew on Earth, family or friends. And I'm able to pass on messages of, not only being able to see and hear and feel them, but it's messages of their lives, messages of things going on. And the most special thing about a live show in particular is, as you mentioned, we may have, the Opera House, for example, is 400 people, and I only might read, 15 to 20, but the messages are always so tailored for every live show. Like, there's things that would have come up at the Opera House that wouldn't make sense to anyone in Melbourne, for example. But every single person indirectly gets a message. That's what's so special about a live show, because of the names, the places, the storylines that spirit brings up. Even if I'm talking to someone else, if it relates to you directly, that is your loved ones reaching out to you in a room of 400 people to make sure that there's still that connection. And what we also found towards the end of the live show, in Perth, especially, Perth was nuts for this, but also in my second Melbourne one, in Auckland, people had bought tickets right near each other. They had no idea who each other were. They were just strangers to each other, but yet they had exactly the same storylines.
Really?
Like, there was a lady I was reading in Perth, and the woman behind her shared the same name. They had the same mother's name. They had the same husband's name, and the storylines of how people crossed over was exactly the same. And yet these ladies didn't even know each other.
That's remarkable.
So, spirit, it just shows the power of how they're able to really marionette, puppet all of us, especially in those situations. It's so special.
Can you just briefly explain how it comes through you as a conduit to the audience, or to specific people?
Yes, so people who want to see, you at a live show or heaven, and how it works.
How does it come through you? Yeah, like, what do you experience?
Well, that's it. Yeah, so I might be standing in front of a room of 1,000 people, but and I've obviously got the wall behind me, but it feels like for me that if I was to turn around, I'd probably have about 10,000 people sitting behind me as well. And fortunately for me, they take it on turn. Like, no message is more important than another, and no spirit is more prioritized than another. But they tailor the messages that come through to impact the whole crowd, absolutely. But when I channel someone, I can see them in my mind, I can feel their emotions, I can feel energy, and I can also hear everything. Like, it's like they're talking to me. They either use my inner voice or I can hear their voices. And in a crowd like this, like, a lot of people have questions whether, like, the people that I pick are already, preordained, or we've already discussed things. I'm saying, like, I'll choose you. And it's simply not the case. I just channel a message that is so specific and so random that only one person in the crowd will connect with it. And then we just move through the crowd at random by whoever connects with the most ridiculous message. I mean, as you mentioned, you ladies have been kind enough to come to 2 of my shows now. Like, some of the messages that get brought up, especially the last Sydney show, like, I mean, some of the things that we were talking about, whether it was the terrorist attack in Bangkok, that girl who nearly got in a bombing in Bangkok, her grandmother stopped her from that. I mean, some of the stories are just, so incredible that spirit can relay that.
Do you feel it physically when the spirit comes through you?
Good question, because sometimes
good point.
Like choking or,
Well, yeah, that's it. So however they crossed over, I will feel that on my body. So, for example, even as you mentioned, if someone had airway blockages or choking, like, I suddenly can't really breathe that strongly. If they had a heart attack, my heart will start tingling. If they had Alzheimer's or dementia, I'll get a cloudiness through the middle of my forehead. It's not as severe as understandably they went through, but it's just their way of relaying a physical sense to me that helps describe their story. But I also feel their emotions. So obviously, if they're talking about life circumstances that happen to them and there's negativity around it, I'll feel a bit stressed by it. But once they're in spirit, like, as cliche as it sounds, it is just the overwhelming feeling of just being so peaceful and so happy and loved. Not only the love that they have for us, but it's like that all-knowing love that they have in the afterlife. And, I feel that. So, even when you mentioned before with the audience finishing a show, we have a roller coaster of emotions. I'm probably going to make you cry. I love to be able to make the audience laugh, and we touch on a lot of heavy topics. But at the end of every show, if the audience can feel happy, then I'm happy. But I also feel the incredible happiness that I get from spirit. Like, I've taken on their emotions for 2 hours straight. And they're excited, they're happy, they're loving. Like, it's incredible.
Oh,
I can
I
never
love
sleep
hearing
after a show
that.
like that.
Exhausted though? Are you exhausted after a show?
I am usually a bit wired after a show because my
Yeah.
brain's not human, so I need to sort of come down. And then the following day, it will feel like I've run a marathon.
Okay. That's funny because we were saying how we get energy and we love it just from like one person across there, and we're just like fired up. I cannot imagine what that's like with thousands of people lining up for you, David, and you're it, you know, like
Literally at the door and
Yeah.
in the brain, in the mind.
But you know, congratulations
mind,
on
yeah.
everything there, and it's so exciting. And
Thank
you know,
you.
and we do want to know. It's, you know, we're sort of already in February because we sort of had a big break, but 2026 already something, you know, lots happening. And what's your word of the year?
The word was initiation. So it's all about
Wow.
stripping away what's no longer working to sort of initiate yourself into a new world, essentially, as deep as that sounds. But, you know, I mean, we're only a few weeks really into 2026. It's definitely been a bit of a roller coaster already. Good and, you know, maybe not as good, but there's a lot of common themes that we're having this year already that is lining up with 2020. And 2020 maybe for the world wasn't positive because obviously we saw obviously the outbreak of COVID. Now, I'm definitely not predicting another pandemic, but even if we look at the first few weeks of 2020, we started off the year with bushfires, but we had that again in 2026. There was a lot of issues with Iran, and that was also the case in 2020. And they're now in the middle of you know, protesting and revolution energy at the moment. But the most interesting one, because sometimes, you know, unfortunately we look at bushfires or we look at internal conflict in countries, which is unfortunately very common. But the biggest alignment that we've actually had with 2020 is the British Royals. And I found this one very fascinating because in 2020, we had Harry and Meghan towards the start of January, you know, separate themselves from the family, and they actually went away. This time around, and especially around the same time of year, we had this time a different British royal family, the Beckhams, go through exactly the same thing. So one of their sons recently got married to a new wife who separated him from the family, and the same mirroring pattern happened again.
She did have she's got a nice name though, hasn't she, David?
Nicola. Well,
Yeah.
every icon's called Nicola.
Nice,
And we've got Lady Di sitting next to you.
Exactly. That's we've got Diana Elizabeth. You know, so we've got a true royal here.
There you go. Lady Diana
Because I was going to ask about that too, and then, you know, like, then you've got obviously, and then with the Epstein files coming out, and then with, you know, Prince Andrew, and I was just even sort of hearing now that I think it's in the royal family are now actually going to sort of like then help the police in every way with investigations, and you know, really sort of like separate themselves, you know, from him.
It's really ongoing. I mean, you know, we look at the Epstein files, and that's something
Endless.
I've honestly
Endless.
I've been talking about that since 2019, 2020 even.
It's
Like, it's been
actually
around for a
true.
very long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, now a lot more information is still coming to light. Everything that's getting made public is probably less than 1% of what there actually is. I mean, it's just so controlled that it's already causing, you know, a lot of upheaval in some ways, really. I mean, it's only really just begun, but some of the names that have been mentioned and the impact it's actually having on the European political system is interesting, because America seems to be skating through it pretty scot-free. Like, I mean, even some very prominent names in America have been mentioned and no one really seems to care, like, which is the most obscene thing of all. But I think there's a lot more to come out. And, you know, as we mentioned, it's something that's been on the radar with a lot of people that have been paying attention to it since 2010. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of some, you know, real heinous, serious crimes over 15 years ago. So there's a lot more to come, but that's only one aspect, I think, of the drama that is the year of the fire horse.
Yeah, now tell us about that too.
Is that 27?
It's giddy up this year, coming from February.
Yeah.
No, it's this year.
so
Snakes going or gone.
There's
Tell
a lot
us.
of things going on in the world that we can see. What can you see for unraveling?
No, this is it. I mean, unraveling is the perfect word, because this is very much aligning with what I sort of felt over the last few months in particular. But there's a lot of astrologers that are talking about, a lot of psychics that are all in agreement that, right now as we're recording this, it's the start of Feb really, but over the coming 10 days, really leading up to the 20th of February, we've got two very significant astrological events that is really upending energy and sort of a bit of a control-alt-delete on the world for a lot of, for all intents and purposes. So we do have a lunar eclipse coming up, which you have to forgive my memory here, but it's around the 13th or the 14th of February, so it's only a few days away. And then we've got for the very first time anyone alive has seen it, there's a planetary conjunction that's occurring in Aries. Aries is the very first star sign of the astrology chart. So this conjunction mixed with that energy is a real upheaval energy. And that's really only about less than 2 weeks away now. So we're in for a bit of a wild ride, but, I think anyone on the planet who's lived through the last 6 years, what else? You know what I mean? We know how to handle it. We're all going to be fine. But yeah, the year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology mythology. So it's all about a little bit of chaos, absolutely, a little bit of real quick changes, but you got to imagine a horse bolting from the stables in a lot of ways, and that's really all of us. So we're shedding the skin from the year of the snake, so shed what no longer works for you. And if you are going to rebirth yourself or bolt from the stables, what are you looking like? Where are you bolting to? What do you want to represent as that fire horse? That's the most important message for everyone, because what no longer serves us, you may have been holding on to it for months, for years. Now's the time. Strip that layer off 100%, because the rebirth is changing the world, and it's going to affect everyone in it in its own personal way, which, it might be fearful for a lot of people, but I'm actually excited by it. So I think it's great.
I think that does sound exciting, really, because it's a time now, with like a rebirth and a time to start again. Yes, look, there's chaos and things going, but I guess also, as you say in your message, and I'd love to hear you sort of say it too, with all the chaos that's going on in the world too, you've got to still sort of centre in. What is that? How would you what advice would you give?
100%. Well, that's it. It's we live in such a 24/7 information world, and there's so much occurring, and if we're not watching all the chaos unfold, we're on our phones listening and hearing and reading about it. And it leads into my biggest thing that I've really held on to as a very primary tenet for a very long time now, that if you can't control it, don't allow it to control you. Education and trying to control the situation are two separate things. We can be very well aware of what's going on in our world, whether domestically or internationally, but either way, we can't control it. What we can control is how we react to it. What we can control is how we manage our own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. What we can have a control and say over is those that we directly associate and have friendships or family connections with. We can't control the war in Europe. We can't control revolution or war in the Middle East. We can't control the heinous alleged crimes of those on the Epstein list, for example. And we definitely can't control any political system. None of us have effects over American domestic policy living in Australia, but yet so many people take it on as a badge of honour. Even recently, we have very serious protests in Sydney and Melbourne overnight that's linked to an international war. It's sort of why are we doing that? Why are we letting external events have such a negative, low frequency, low vibrational impact on us? And people are choosing that.
So what's some tips for people to sort of get a higher frequency, or if they are sort of caught in the rabbit hole, they're on their phones and they're seeing this sort of stuff there and they're going down that way. What's some tips, David, just for people to sort of like then centre themselves or really sort of like get back to sort of like, you know...
And David talks a lot about us being energy. If you could just elaborate on that also.
Yes.
Like, we are energy.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even science understands that. Every living force is an energetic field. Like, we're all atoms made together. That's the thing. But, you know, as simple as it sounds, Nicola, how many people actually go and stand outside without wearing shoes? How many people get direct sunlight on their skin or actually go for a walk around the block and get some fresh air? You know, it sounds so simple, but how many people drink 2 liters of water a day? How many people try and get a rested night's sleep? Like, these are just such simple, so obvious little changes that seem so like, oh yeah, but what else? But none of us are actually really doing that. We allow ourselves to get so caught up in the moment that we actually forget to go outside and actually look at daylight because, you know, we're rushing from offices to the homes to in and out and in and out. But, you know, it does lead back into what we were just touching on with, you know, if you can't control it, then allow it to control you. It's something that you have to mindfully pay attention to every single time you're consuming any kind of information, especially the negative information that's put out into the world, because unfortunately, the world that we've shaped for ourselves is actually running on negative information. I mean, if we were to turn on the 6 p.m. news tonight, and this is for anyone in the world, no matter which state or country you're listening to, the very first story on the news tonight, without even knowing what it's going to be, I can guarantee it will not be something positive.
No.
I can't help but ask, though, like, you did touch on politics, but, and yes, we've all mentioned the word chaos in the world, but globally, politically, what can you foresee, like, whether it's 26, 27, like, can you predict anything around that arena?
Well, I mean, it comes down into, again, the same themes we had in 2020, which was actually the master-slave dynamic. So obviously, if we look at the power balance, you know, who would we consider the masters and who would we consider the slaves? Now, for anyone who has any sort of brief attention to what's happening in the world, sorry to tell you guys, but we're not the masters in this world. You know, the political elite or the powerful ones are the masters in this slave, and we're the slaves to them. But political upheaval comes with the new world, that's for sure. Structures that aren't working, ideas that aren't working. I mean, it's no coincidence whatsoever that a lot of more deeper information about very powerful figures is coming out in the Epstein files at the moment and the impact that has on them. From a personal level, even astrologically, it aligns with him in his home birth chart. But I'd be very surprised if something serious didn't happen to Donald Trump, especially over the next few months in particular. Not a guarantee, of course, but there's, you know, that would be a very strong upheaval energy, of course, if something was to happen towards him.
Well, he got shot twice, didn't he, last time, David, which you predicted both of them beforehand, didn't you?
So that's frightening.
Well, I was very fortunate to appear on Sky News Australia with the wonderful Gabriella Power.
That's right.
And even on Sky News, a national program, I talked about Donald Trump's imminent second assassination attempt, and then it only happened a few weeks later.
You're bringing this to the fore. That's frightening.
Yeah, so the energy on that is still very, I mean, it was very prevalent in 2026 for me at the same time. But yeah, really at this conjuncture that we find ourselves in, if anything was going to happen to Donald Trump, I don't think any astrologers or psychics would be surprised if it happened over the next sort of, 6 to 8 weeks in particular. So leading up until really the end of March. But at the same time, I mean, whether it's the Epstein files or even own domestic political issues. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the United Kingdom at the moment. The European political elite are getting caught up in everything. I mean, Australia, we're noticing very big changes here with the rise of some of the minor parties, like One Nation.
Pauline Hanson
Pauline Hanson
has become the poster girl, hasn't she?
Years. But that's it. She's becoming a very strong opposition figure, and it's again like everyone in Australia, especially if you're our age, you've known of Pauline for decades.
Absolutely,
and, she made her first presence in Australian Parliament in the mid-90s. Like, I mean, half of the adults now weren't even alive back then. Obviously, maybe a bit more than half. But so again, it's no surprise that after all this time, that Pauline Hanson is gaining prominence as a political alternative or a figure based on there's a lot of domestic issues in Australia that maybe people feel like aren't being paid attention to or aren't given the priority or importance that they are. And Pauline's always focused on that, for example. So when we're dealing with political upheaval, energetic upheaval, change figures like her come into focus. Exactly the same thing happened with Donald Trump. America was going through a very changed period at the end of the Obama administration, and look who appeared, the change figure. So it's kind of exciting if you are able to just sort of separate and just remember that you're an observer. Like, we can be a part of it and we can still pay attention to it, but we don't have to get on the field and play the game. It's okay to watch from the stands and protect ourselves in that way.
What about natural disasters? Anything you could predict? I mean, there's been so much transition in the world. Like,
And I want some natural joys.
Yeah, any natural disasters.
Nice big rainbows. We want rainbows and butterflies everywhere.
Is there any you can see on that level?
There's been a lot of psychics that have talked about huge earthquakes in Japan, but I mean, 10% of the world's earthquakes already happen in Japan anyway. So, I mean, I think it's inevitable that there'll be big earthquakes in Japan. My focus is still on the east coast of the US. That was something I talked about last year, but obviously, I mean, everyone on the east coast of the US knows that they're at risk of significant earthquakes already. But the energy is very strong through that. And, whether you're a seismologist or a scientist, they already know that area is very overdue for a big earthquake as well. That could hit anywhere from, really San Diego up to Alaska, really, the whole stretch through there, including Canada. There's been some psychics that I've seen talk about, even volcanic eruptions at, Mount St. Helens or Yosemite. I don't feel that directly, but my focus, if there was to be significant shifts in the Earth's crust or an earthquake, would probably be around either Southern California or the San Francisco Bay Area. And then there's also a focus on sort of Seattle, Oregon through Portland, Seattle area. But again, the shifts happening through there, if it was to happen this year, again, it wouldn't surprise me energetically. But I think, the world's, even without being a scientist or a psychic, we know that there's, constant shifts in the geography or the atmosphere or whatever it may be. So, to predict an earthquake or to predict tsunamis or floods and bushfires, I mean, unfortunately, it's just a given of the planet that we live in at the same time as well.
Right. Well, can I say too, if this all is heavy, we just look, it's part of planet Earth, as you say, what energy that we're on. But also, you say you tap into anything, and what I love with David is, and I always put my hand at my list. So, David, you do like a 22-minute meditation, and it's like on a global scale, isn't it? And you got your Lovers Edition one, for Valentine's, and you have different ones at different times.
And it feels like he's in, like I do it in my bedroom.
It's a great way for our listeners too. If you, if you are feeling overwhelmed, or if you want to see David and you haven't even got to a live show, or you can't get to see him through a reading, you can go online too and tell us a bit about how that works.
Yeah, thank you for bringing them up, because I love being able to do 22 minutes manifest.
Well, changed your life, didn't it?
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Changed my life.
Changed Di's life.
You and your partner right
I know. Yeah, she did.
Oh my God,
and that was actually the Lovers Edition last year for me.
Oh, wow. I'm doing it because I'm bringing in love this year.
So we've got to share that with the listeners that David had said. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Last year, David, you were talking, it was just prior to the meditation that someone...
No, you're saying,
about artwork in your house.
Artwork in the house. Yes. Women in your house, single.
And you were talking to how many thousands of people...
1,000 people in that room. Yeah.
David, tell that tip to people now.
And then he said to me, and I went, oh my God, he's talking about me. And so I went and moved all these pictures and everything changed.
So this is the thing. So
tell listeners.
Amazing thing.
Yeah, because I love to be able to, it's called 22 Minutes Manifest. So it's spirit-led insights and tips on how to successfully manifest, led by a very incredible energetic frequency meditation that we do as a group. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. But the part that I love the most that we just brought up then And this is actually Feng Shui, but Spirit loves being able to talk about it at the same time. And I'll be talking about this tonight when I've got my Lovers Edition events. So, by the time this episode is, unfortunately, people may have missed out, but there's always other events. I've always got something going on, so don't stress. But good hot tip for everyone listening out there, especially if you are looking on finding romantic relationship connections. Pay attention to what your environment is showing, especially when it comes to artwork. Because if you're wanting to bring love and positive romantic connections into your life, what is the artwork on your walls saying? Because females in particular, and this is very well known, and a lot of women listening will be nodding their heads being like, yeah, that's me, usually have artwork of singular women or long paths or scenic outlooks or piers where there may only be no one on it or only one person on it. So the energy intention that you're setting in your environment is that of a single woman or by no partnership energy. So if you were to change your artwork up to include couples holding hands or themes of love, romance, romantic settings, it doesn't have to be like, anything tacky or anything like that. It's just the artwork of represents. Start showing people in groups or start showing couples holding hands, things like that. That sets the environment that you're open and willing to receive that. So whatever artwork we have on our walls is actually representing what we subconsciously and energetically are open to receiving.
Wow. And David, you say that also about, what music you listen to, when people listen and singing songs to, listen to the words and they're really negative and sort of like tune out of that and tune in to some good stuff.
Now, that's the thing, we all sing along, whether we're in the shower or we're driving in the car, or even if we just have music playing in the back of our homes while we're working away. But if we actually paid attention to a lot of the lyrics in Western songs in particular, they're not overly positive. Like, it's usually about relationship breakups or there's a lot of singers at the moment, which is very on brand for Gen Z anyway, but they're singing about mental health, concerns. Like one of the songs that I mentioned in particular was last year, and it was called Anxiety by an American singer. I think she might be actually British, but her name's Doechii. And she's singing, "It's my anxiety, and all she was singing about was her anxiety. And then people listening to it were wondering why they were anxious. I was like, well, you just spent the last 5 minutes talking about how you've got anxiety.
I love that, David, because when I hear songs like that, and I always get, I'm the generation too, and like Gabriella laughs. I always get my words muddled up or whatever, so it's kind of lucky. So I go,
a good thing.
it's not my anxiety, like that. And I always turn it around. If I hear something negative, but I like the song and I'm going to sing it, I sort of twist it round as well.
And Western music has a lot of hidden connotations and everything. Like Lady Gaga, for example. Like I actually found myself, because I was a big Gaga fan back in the day, I still appreciate her as an artist. But she has a song called Judas, which was released, we're talking a good maybe 10, 15 plus years ago. And it says, "I'm just a holy full baby, he's so cruel, but I'm still in love with Judas, baby." So I'm singing a song out loud that says that I'm in love with the devil. Like, and whether the devil exists as an energy or not, it still energetically represents a lot of heaviness and dark.
Do you mind if I just quickly go back to pictures on the wall?
Yes,
please. Doesn't know this. Whilst I was away, I have, my magnificent picture of just a feather.
Yes, I love it.
It fell and smashed on the floor. No one was there.
Wow.
It's a floating feather, right? It's not connected to anything. It's just a floating feather. And it smashed. Yeah. And I only knew because my nephew came over to stay at my house while I was away. And he went, "Oh, Di, this is smashed on the floor." No one was there. And I started thinking, what is that? Is it, you can't keep floating. You've got to ground it. You've got to land it. That came to me. I don't know if that...
Significant, yeah.
I don't know, but it was pretty powerful because it's a quite ethereal sort of picture.
Oh, very much so.
You know the one.
Yeah.
But smashed to smithereens on the floor. I went,
That wasn't meant to be there then.
Are you sensing anything like, here we go, trying to get him into that?
Well, see, that's the thing, because everyone has their own symbolisms of what their artwork represents. But that's the thing. If you look at that and be like, okay, I need to ground myself and not be so floaty like a feather.
That's what I instantly
It's smashed.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's very open to interpretation because, again, it's the energetic alignment that we're setting with our things. So obviously, 10 different people had that artwork in their house. They'd probably interpret it in 10 different ways, but that's what it meant to you, Di. So it's very interesting. And out of all the artwork to smash it, that one. So.
Yeah, my favourite too.
That's really interesting because I know your artwork and like everyone's there is really powerful. But when that story when Di sort of said David was talking to me, and I love it. That's what's so good with these group meditations because you're actually talking to thousands of people and nothing there. And you're actually in the house. But how it can affect.
I would have made you a wine.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Everybody.
I'll be lying in bed with over 800 women tonight. So no wonder I'll be tired tomorrow.
That's how bad. Now, Dave, Nicola and I, we always do it. We just do it for the hell of it. Because I know when you first came on the potty, you did. Our mothers were here, and it was
blew us away.
Like I'm almost getting teary now thinking about it. But you said amazing things that no one would ever know, and it was so magnificent. And I'm not hoping, but if there's a possibility that anyone could come through while you're sitting in front of us, because we're very in tune, and maybe our energy is vibrating high as a rule for both of us. I believe so. Is there anything, anywhere, anytime, any place?
Well, you know what, and this is the best segue, because even as we started talking about the Feng Shui artwork and everything like that, it was coming in. So, I mean, I know you ladies mentioned before, which I also personally know myself, that, unfortunately your parents have all crossed over. But it's all about relationships again. Because I've got these two strong females coming in like this, and I mean, talk about, what a great segue. Because what both your, I was going to say lover mothers, but both...
Yeah, I am. I'm into this.
Shaking.
Because, and this is actually leading into Feng Shui again, because what they were saying, they're like, they know how to do it, Dave. Good. Let's get to work. But, I don't know whether this is the mothers or not, but I've also got a lady who has chest or breast cancer issues also making her presence clear. So that could also be outside of a friendship circle, or it doesn't have to be the mother energies particular. But when it comes to also, because Di, I can appreciate you're in a relationship at the moment. Yeah. Nicola, and open to finding someone.
I am. I think this is the year for me. That giddy up. I feel ready.
Yeah.
So this is perfect because what both your family energies want to do, and this leads into what we were saying before. When it comes to artwork, you don't actually have to go and buy something. What I want you both to do, you're in a studio at the moment, there'll be Post-its lying around. Mm-hmm. What I want you both to do, Nicola, if you're wanting an evolution in your relationship in any form, or Nicola, if you're wanting to meet someone, Di, if you're wanting an evolution in any form, pardon me, get a Post-it and draw two stick figures holding hands together and put that above your bed.
Okay. I can do that. I like a bit of artwork.
Because then that artwork is just symbolising that there's two stick figures holding hands. And if you put it above your bed... Now, your mum has actually asked, and I'm interested as well in this, I want her to answer. Which side of the bed, Nicola, if I'm facing your bed...
Yes.
What side are you sleeping on? Are you on my right side or are you on my left side?
I'm on your left. So if you're looking at me, and so my legs are to you, I would be on the left.
I'm left too, yeah.
On the left side of the bed, yes. Perfect. That's exactly where you ladies need to be sleeping for relationship evolution.
Okay.
Because that represents sort of the feminine side of the bed. So we're sleeping on that side of the bed. It attracts masculine energy.
Oh,
wow. Okay. Isn't it funny, when I was in a relationship, I was on the other side of the bed, and I kept on saying, that was mine. But, I guess some things were...
Yeah, you were forced to have to be the man in the relationship.
Wow, there you go.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Which is why when we're in a relationship with a man, it doesn't work, or they become a bit of a effing headache, for want of a better phrase. But I mean, this is every time I sit down with you ladies, it's just the most calming, peaceful vibe from spirit. I mean, there's just the elements of talking. Something about renovations of the home. So I don't know whether either of you are looking at doing changes to the home at the moment. They said Nicola's on the move, but I don't think you're necessarily leaving Palmy, but whether you've just found yourself living in another place. Actually, I know that you have, because I was talking to your daughter about
That's right.
I think you're living on the North Shore somewhere.
I have. It's like a temporary, but it's been fantastic. And I have been sort of like throughout.
She's
you know,
back this week.
Yeah, I'm back. Palmy's sort of, I guess, my base, but and I guess I flew for the airlines. I love moving around, and I really like, yes. So I have actually been,
Which is interesting because they're also showing, and they're referencing Palm Beach, and I can appreciate you both got properties up there. There's a lot of water going on. So, Sydney hasn't stopped raining, to be very fair. You're always getting a lot of big storms. Yeah. But just be mindful of dampness in the homes. So now I'm maybe looking at you with a little bit with that die, because it's coming forward on my right-hand side. You're on the right-hand side of my screen at the moment. Yeah. But just be mindful of any sort of build-up of gutter. I mean, I know I've been to your beautiful property up there, but make sure the gutters are cleared from water overlogs. Because I recently bought a dehumidifier, pardon me, and an air purifier, and they're actually showing both of those for both of you ladies. So just keep a very mindful environment of just water build-up in the homes in particular. Yeah, definitely. You both got big years ahead with travel, so I don't know whether you've got anything planned at this stage, but there's a lot going on with movement. Yeah, because I know you mentioned before that even around Australia you may be doing some lunches and things like that, but there's a lot going on overseas, especially around mid-year, because both your families are very excited for you both to go. It's kind of like USA. A bit of like a Thelma and Louise vibe. I mean, don't drive off a cliff in Vegas or anything like that. But,
wow, that's what we want. It's funny. We're busy. That's amazing.
In the convertible.
You've been talking about it?
Yeah, we have, haven't we? It's what we want to do.
And it's ironic because we actually use that term.
We do, yeah. We like the Thelma and Louise, and we really do want to do a Di, Nicola, and say the States or something like that, and over the back fence.
Well, I was going more Europe in my head at the same time. I can see you both in Portofino in some lovely Camilla dresses.
We love that. We love the Camilla. Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it's all that you're beautiful. I mean, it's always the mothers for both of you. It's bad like anyone else. It's always the strong feminines that always come forward for both of you. Yeah. It just leads into the element of exactly what we've been talking about even throughout our chat together today. It's just about, it is about new beginnings. So it's like, what do you want? What are we seeking? And stop waiting for things. It's something that I say a lot, to not only my friends, but also when it comes up in readings, it's like, what is the right time? They're posing a lot of hypothetical questions for you for anything that you're wanting in life, whether it's romance or career or even personal growth or social growth, whatever it may be. What is the right time? Right time doesn't exist. It's now, because it's your mum died, but she's saying it to both of you. And then I've got your. I remember.
I can feel her
coming right between the both of us.
She's really.
I'm actually look at this. I'm starting to get goosebumps now, and
Nicola was her extra.
Just to call me an extra daughter, like a daughter.
Yeah, the new daughter. Yeah, exactly, the new one. My new daughter. And it's sort of like. Hypothetically, with anything we're wanting in life, like even for me, like I maybe want to learn another language, but I'm like, that's too hard. It would take 12 months. 12 months is still going to pass anyway. You know what I mean? So I may as well be doing something in those 12 months, because especially by the time we reach adulthood or, our later adulthood for us, like in terms of, our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, 70s, whatever it is, we always put things off because it's sort of like we feel like we're too old for it. But in reality, like, for example, like, I know you ladies maybe don't want to, but you could go to university and sign up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But then you'd be like, I don't want to do that because it would take 3 years. Well, 3 years is still going to pass anyway. Mm-hmm. So you may as well study in those 3 years and gain that extra skill, because at the end of the 3 years, you'll be exactly where you were, or you'll have a qualification. So that's how they wanted to look at life. With anything that we're wanting to plan, the time is going to pass irregardless. Is that even a word? I keep getting told off for saying irregardless. Apparently, it's not a word.
We're running with it, David.
Yeah, I thought it was a good word until everyone on TikTok told me it's not even a word. But yeah, regardless, the time's still going to pass. So what did my girls, what did my girls want from it? And now's the time, especially with all the changes that we, recently talked about coming up through February, March. Health-wise, for both of you, I don't have any concerns at all. I have to make that clear. So I don't know whether either of you had any questions around health or wellness.
When you said breast cancer before, I was like, oh, or was that someone coming through that had breast cancer? I can't.
That they had breast cancer in spirit. It's not a warning. Yeah.
Okay, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely keep on top of it anyway, of course. Like just because David the medium says don't stress about it. Don't ignore anything health-wise.
Yeah.
Nicola. I've got Fleur.
Oh, again! Oh,
I just saw this beautiful.
This is incredible.
was my ragdoll cat who was my mum's, and I inherited her, and I had her for
Fleur.
12 years. I love Fleur. And I actually miss Fleur, even though I talked to her. Oh,
this is beautiful, guys.
This
is not just people; it's animals too.
And you know what? Knowing you
Yeah.
coming on, you talk about signs, and I was hearing you. I actually fell asleep with you last night, David, because I was listening to one of you. I was listening to one of you on a podcast to get another. I love getting a refresh, and I fell asleep in my dreams, and I woke up and I re-listened. But you're talking about signs, and if you want signs, put it out there. And I forgot about this, but I actually then said, Flurry, if there is a sign, and well, she's
now she's popped up.
Oh, I asked her to.
Meow.
Oh, that's so beautiful. She's with my mum.
And yeah, she's got this real. I mean, I was able to meet Fleur, very briefly. She was a bit like, who is this random man in the house? But she's got a real ethereal kind of energy to her, like just very, typical cat energy. I say, where they're the boss of the room.
Oh, yes.
And Mark, where does Mark connect for either of you ladies? Yeah, you can be Earthside, but he'd have to be close to you.
I only know Mark socially. MARC. Mark Hunter. Not.
Well, yeah, Mark Hunter from Dragon. Like
It was
he
your
was
brother-in-law.
But he's passed over.
Yeah, okay.
You're thinking someone that's in our lives, possibly, like.
Well, they're definitely in spirit or have to be close to you, Earthside. So, if we think hard enough, we all know a Mark, you know what I mean? But this would have to be.
Was he MARC? Yeah, he was MARC.
He was
MARC. Your sister's husband.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all chilled. I mean, this is the thing. They said, when we catch up with the girls next time for dinner. I'm like, okay. So apparently the three of us have to go for dinner and we can turn that into another David the Medium live show. I think how fun.
Oh, we'll do that. Let's do dinner with the mums with David. Well, we will get...
Well, everyone. But, sorry to interrupt you there, Nicola,
no.
But yeah, the main thing is, and what I'm proud to hear with you both as well, it's sort of like, and this is important to everyone listening, you already keep the relationship going with your loved ones. The guidance that you sometimes instinctively feel within your gut. It's not just your own intelligence or spiritual connection. It is coming from those in spirit who also love you. And personally, I feel like maybe a lot of people don't necessarily understand that they're not disconnected from spirit. We are all completely connected, but it's just how you choose to acknowledge it, because people, through lack of experience or lack of understanding, or maybe, they may be unspiritual, which is also completely fine, but they think that their loved ones have gone. So if you think that, then it not lessens their connection, but it somehow sometimes makes it harder for the connection to make it clear to us.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say about women with intuition. I was listening to you having a chat about women in intuition. Can you just quickly talk about women and intuition? Because I found that fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's very cool because women are more open than men generally, if that makes sense. So the most special thing is, and you can both appreciate this as mothers, women have a portal to another dimension existing in their abdomen, in their womb. And whether that chooses to have children in it or not. Now, in your cases, you both got, multiple children, your mothers. You were portals to the afterlife whilst you were pregnant, because you were creating the physical body for a soul that was not of this world.
Wow. Talk about...
And that's it's a real crazy way to look at it, but that's exactly you created the physical body for a soul that wasn't here.
Amazing.
And when that baby took its first breath, the soul entered. So women are more in tune due to their connections with the afterlife, or the universe, inverted commas, in that sense. Anyway, men, through, especially in Western society, there's a lot of, not necessarily, I don't know if pressures is the right word, but there's a lot of structure that's put on them at the very start to be the leaders and to be sort of. So a lot of men, especially heterosexual men, feel like that they need to know all the answers and they have to be right. And what they see, if they can't see that, then it doesn't exist. Like they're real masculine kind of dominance. Whereas females are always open to seeing different sides of things. Generally speaking, of course, we've all met some females that give us a headache, but like,
Yes, yeah.
It's that sixth sense, isn't it? Excuse the pun, but it literally
but it is.
Yeah. Amazing.
Because women don't put so much pressure to need to know everything and they'll always be right. Women are a lot more grey, whereas men are a lot more black and white, generally speaking. That allows energy to be interpreted in a lot of different ways, but it also allows energy connections to be built quicker or stronger because they're not necessarily instinctively blocking it out. Women, I mean, even from a scientific perspective, like, sorry to be a bit morbid, but you can appreciate this, Nicola, you've got a daughter. But even women that live together, their cycles will sync
It's
up. Like,
true.
it's all chemically related.
It's so true,
Little things
isn't
like
it?
that.
Isn't that that's amazing.
It is.
Acknowledgement. It's true what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So,
You
exactly.
get it.
The body and our energy, the energy field that we fill a space with impacts other people. Women are a lot more open to receiving that than maybe men are. Now, understandably, men don't have cycles that need to sync up anyway, but we've still got, all our other things. But women connect in different ways that men don't.
Intuition's a very powerful
intuition
thing. Don't override it, guys.
No, don't override
No,
it.
that's it.
The power of the pause that we said before.
I know, David.
And don't let your brain, we all get gut feelings on things, but then the human logic tries to explain it or block it out. So don't do that. Allow your body to tell you. This is a good test, not only for you ladies, but also for everyone listening. Sit there peacefully, center your energy, ask yourself a question. Be like, okay, what do argument's sake, am I going to get a new job in 6 months? Whatever it may be. Where on the body do you feel that? What does your gut instantly tell you? With any questions you wanted to ask, like that was just an example, of course. But before the brain kicks in and overthinks that it has human doubt, human paranoia, human pessimism, which we all have, that's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that, we just have it. But the body will give you the answers before the brain does. Your instinct and your energy and your gut feelings will tell you before the human logic kicks in.
Well, the intuition will tell you. My question to you is, generally it's right?
100%.
There you go.
It always is one way or the other. It's going to direct you where you're meant to be in the right way.
Interesting.
And how many times I've said it a million times? Well, that's it. I'm sure you ladies have said it a million times throughout life as well. If only I listened to my gut.
Yes.
Well, it's so true when you go against it.
Yeah.
And sometimes those first, not to say you can't judge book by its cover, because it's not those, like, say, initial first sort of, when you sort of see someone, but it's also, it's how you feel, which I guess is that gut thing. And that's
100%.
Always
how many of
right.
us, like, I'm sure you ladies have done it as well, but I've stepped into rooms before, and before I've even spoken to someone, I'm very drawn to them, or actually don't really want much to do with them.
Yes.
We can all meet people within 5 seconds, and it is
true.
human biology as well. We
It's
make up
true.
our opinions on someone within the first few seconds of meeting them.
It is true.
Now, why are we doing that? Because they might not have spoken to us properly yet. We know nothing about them, but yet our energy has already relayed to us an answer.
Incredible.
Trust it.
Amazing.
Trust it. Wow.
I could talk to you.
We want to
for
talk. We
weeks.
just don't want to let you go. And what a gift our mother's coming through again
Always.
today.
They're always
And
there.
it's
They
funny.
always love to just pop in and be there. Like, it's
chat
just
to
beautiful.
my
Like, every time I
mother
see you ladies.
Like that, you do. I do that with it, and then Flurry again, my little angel cat. That's even what a treat with that too. And I just got to say to you, you put on your Instagrams too, and I love this quote too. This is sort of for everyone listening too. If you're going to overthink, do it by imagining every scenario where everything can turn out fine.
Love that.
Exactly right.
I think is so
We
good.
all overthink everything, but
Yeah.
like it's part of our human nature. If we ever overthink anything, it's never positive.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like fear doesn't exist. A lot of us are fearful of a lot of different things, but fear is based on past trauma, which is not relevant to a current situation, or it's based on anxiety about the future, and the future doesn't exist yet. So when we overthink things, we're creating scenarios in our mind that don't actually exist in reality. So why allow our energy and our mind and all our thoughts and behaviors and actions to be focused on something that actually doesn't exist? So if you're going to focus on anything that doesn't exist, then make it something incredibly positive, because that will lift your energy frequency and vibration, not only allow you to manifest quicker, but the universe will look at you like a strong Wi-Fi signal. Like when we're operating at a negative frequency and stress and anxious and focusing and overthinking about negative things, you're only on one bar of cell phone reception or Wi-Fi signal. But when you're throwing your energy out there in a really positive way, you're full bars. And which one do you want to connect with more, the terrible reception or the strong reception?
Sure, and the brain listens, and the brain.
And that's a great reminder for everyone. It's a great way, sort of like really to wrap it up too, because it's true. When you are vibrating high, and more things sort of come to you, and you're certainly in the high. So you can see David the Medium. I mean, he's absolutely everywhere. Your YouTube channel, I love your podcast. That's what I was listening to you when I fell asleep and I woke up again. Medium at Large, isn't it? It's
Medium
so good.
At Large,
Medium
yes,
at Large
you.
is really
Fabulous.
good. You're on YouTube as well. We're on YouTube, because everything you're saying now is the way it's all happening. You've got your live shows, you've got your manifesting, and I love your cards. I do your cards. Do you still sell those ones as well?
They're sold out now.
Oh,
that was
wow.
it. Yeah,
Well, I'm lucky. I've got
OG.
those. I got the OG,
Yeah, thank you.
OG cards.
When's the next show? When's the next show?
Well, I was about to say, I haven't even told you, ladies.
Oh, breaking news.
By the time this episode goes live, it will be available for everyone. But I'm actually got my only scheduled Australian show for this year, due to scheduling another prior commitments. This may be my only show for 2026.
You're kidding.
But we're going to be up in Townsville on April 9.
April, no, that sounds like a good spot where I'd like to be. That's getting to April now.
God. Exactly. So, Sydney and Melbourne in the southern states will start to get in a bit cold, but it is the school holiday period. So ladies and gentlemen as well, of course, if you're looking for a little getaway, come up and see me at the Ville. So that will be on the Ville Resort Casino.
I love that. Now, we've asked you many times if you could share a back fence with anyone. I think you saw the first one when you were saying even Elon Musk and Donald Trump, which I just love. What happened.
And now look at where we are.
Look where we are,
And
exactly.
wait a minute, and Elon Musk is not from here. He's been transported here. I love that.
I love that as well.
Alien.
Is there anyone else now who you'd like to, who's on the 2026 list of, chewing the fat? Is there anyone like...
It's a biggie.
It's a biggie. Anyone. Past, present. It could be everyone who's, anyone.
Well, that's it.
So you got everyone. You got every spirit in the planet.
How many could I have? Just one?
No, you can have lots.
I want to hear the one you were just saying. Has to be. Who was that?
My maternal grandmother.
Who you saw the pink octopus when you wanted to sign. You put that
exactly,
out. I love that.
Did you tell her that? Did you guys discuss that before she passed over as a symbol?
No, because she crossed over in 2016. So I was at the very beginning of my career, and I wasn't even David the Medium when she crossed over. I was actually still working in criminal prosecution. So, but the good news is she hears everything I said.
The pink elephant.
The what, sorry?
How did you know that was relative?
Oh, no, that was when you put a sign out. You asked for a sign.
Yeah, so I told her.
Okay, so she'd passed over, then you put a sign out to say, show me that you're tuning in, and you said a pink elephant for whatever reason.
Yeah, I said, I talk to her out loud, and, I never get the answers like I do when I speak to everyone else's loved ones. But I said, show me that you're around, give me a pink octopus.
Octopus.
Because, where are you going to see a pink octopus?
Yeah, sure.
And then the next day, this was actually during COVID, it was at the end of COVID in Melbourne. And the next day, there was an ad on TV for pool toys. And there seemed to be a massive pink octopus pool toy on TV for longer than it should have been. And I never saw that ad again.
Wow.
So that's
okay.
for everyone
like, thank you.
listening.
Yeah, tune in, guys.
and reach out
Don't
for a
be
star. And is there anyone else? You said does it have to be one? So obviously it's your beauty. And what was her name? Your grandma?
My maternal grandmother was June.
June. Oh, I
Yeah.
like that name.
It
Is
is
there anyone
beautiful.
else on the back fence? Because I think you said that there might even be a few. Or was there? Or
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I mean,
come
I'm
on,
bringing
shoot
forward
some
all my
names.
grandparents if I can. But it's like celebrity-wise, alive or present. I mean, I love Lana Del Rey, but I also see, this is my thing, girls. I would like to meet all these people, but like then you meet them, and 5 seconds later, I was like, I've actually got really nothing to say to you. Like, I mean, I would love to meet Lana Del Rey, but what would I talk about with her? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's very triggering for the audience all the time. But for me, I mean, my number one guest is always going to be Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, isn't it funny? Triggering. Well, you know, that's
We'll have our legs swinging on a branch.
we'll be having a little. You're chewing the fat wherever you
Yeah,
are.
we love
We will
you.
be there.
We
We
love
love you,
you.
and thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
and thank you for all of our listeners. This is just the start, and what a way to start 2026.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
really.
with David the Medium, we're back in your ears. It's
We
going
will
to
be.
giddy up, strap in. There's going to be so much happening this year. Thank you all
So
for
much
listening.
happening for you, ladies.
I always do the stars thing, and you know, Di's not going to get away with it because we always
my
like
God.
rating and review. We like everyone now to subscribe. Come and subscribe to YouTube. How important is it, David? For the,
It's so important because if you subscribe to everyone's YouTube channel, so definitely subscribe to Over the Back Fence because then you'll get instant notifications every time an episode drops. And it's also great to be part of the community on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's nice to leave
that's
comments, like
very
the videos.
cool.
You'll meet friends and make connections with people from all over the world. So YouTube is a great place.
That's from YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm really
that's
into
that's
YouTube
so
in this
true.
way.
But we like people to rate and review, and Di has her own sort of stars, and it's sort of like out of 5. But we've got David the Medium on now. Come on, Di, how many stars?
It's
I
only
mean,
one
really.
thing I can say. It's only one thing: just shoot for the stars. That's it.
Well, that's what 2026
That's
is all
it, shoot
about.
for
And
the
you've
stars.
definitely got a massive year ahead, ladies. I'm excited.
Oh, we're excited too.
Thanks,
Thank you. We'll be
David.
back in your ears
Talk to
next
you soon.
week. Yeah, ciao, ciao. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
everyone.
Bye.